Forms in Supercamps. Supercamps company forms. This is a list of all the forms that can be found on a Supercamps camp. We're not going to go through every single one individually, only a few of them of interest. The ones you'll be coming into contact with each day. And that is the instant report forms, the administration of medication form, the anaphylactic reaction consent form, the accident record sheets, the medical consent forms, the password record sheets. Let's have a look. So the instant report forms, administration to medication form, anaphylactic reaction consent form, accident record sheets, medical consent forms, password record sheets. So the instant form, this is what it looks like. Very important to fill in the relevant details. So you need to have the Supercamps venue, the child's name, the activity which it happened. So this happened in archery, this one. The date of the instant, the child's age and time. And then you fill this section up with factual stuff only. It cannot be opinion, it needs to be facts of the account. Then the instructor needs to sign it, and that's printed as well as signature. And then at the end of the day, the camp manager will get the parent of the child to read it and sign it. This is not necessarily to agree with what happened, but it's just to sign to basically say that they've read the instant report form that we've produced for them. So the next form is administration medication form. So again, we need to put the child's name, and this is usually filled out on the first day the camp comes. This is usually filled out the first day that the child comes to camp. We need to put the address of the child. This is so if anything goes wrong, we can give the address to the emergency services. The home telephone number, the name of the first emergency contact plus their number. We also get a second one as well, just in case that we need to call them and the first emergency contact number is not answering. We also need the doctor's name and telephone number. We need to know the type of medication. We need to know the dose amount, how many they're supposed to take, the frequency, and directions. So this could be something with, can be taken with a glass of water, or it needs to be taken before food. You need to get the parent to sign the top of the box, and each day that they bring the medication in, you need to put the dates. So they come on the 5th of the 5th, and then back again on the 6th of the 5th. You need to keep on putting in there. So that states the parent gives you permission each day to administer that medication. On the back of the form, you need to put the date, the time that the medication was administered, who it was administered by, so which instructor actually instructed the child to take it, and who witnessed it. You always do this in pairs, just in case of anything that goes wrong. Then the parent and guardian will sign to say that they agree that this process was done. And then the other example on the next day. And we just continue this for every single day and every single time that is required. We do the same with the anaphylactic reaction consent form. We need to put the child's name at the top, address, much like the other forms that we've just filled in, home telephone number, the first emergency contact and the second, both with numbers, and the GP's name. We need to put what the child is severely allergic to and warrants to have an auto-injector on camp. The camp manager can decide whether that it could be a nut-free camp, but if there's a severe allergy, the head office team will notify the camp manager prior and will email out to all the parents in reference to this, asking them not to bring any nuts, or particular nuts in this case, pick peanuts and cashews to camp. Also on this form, we need to note down what kind of symptoms are a result of eating the nuts, just so if it does happen, we can monitor and spot it straight away. So in this instant, it's swelling around the eyes. So the name of the medicine will need to be stated. So in this case, it's auto-injector, adrenaline or epinephrine. We need to look at the dose again, which is 1 shot, which is the most what will happen on most of them. We need to have a frequency of time, and all auto ejectors now will only be once, and then you call the ambulance. And then specific instructions. So normally it's in the right hand leg, just below the pocket. On the back, this needs to be signed every time that the auto injector is brought to camp, a little bit like the medicine before. So just each day it just needs to give permission that we can act in the event of an emergency. If we do administer anything, we need to put the name of the person who oversaw that or administered the particular auto injector, the date, the time, and then they need to sign it, and then we get the parent to sign it at the bottom. An accident form, this would be one of the most common forms you'll fill out on form on camp. So you need to put the venue, you need to put the crew name, you need to put the name of the injured person, the date that it happened, and the time. Where did the accident happen, so the area, and be quite specific about this because more information is better. And then just a quick synopsis of what happened, was running, tripped over, things like that. What kind of injury did the person sustain? It's very important. If there is swelling or bruising, we need to mark it on the body map to the right hand side of the form here. Remember, this is an anatomical position, and we need to be specific because if we're looking at a head office, it's something that we would use as a document to refer to if we're talking to anybody else over the phone or anything like that. Treatment, so in this case there's an ice pack for 15 minutes. If there's plasters, if there's a bandage being administered, we need to put that down as well. And then what kind of monitoring we've done. So in this case we monitor for the next half an hour. So this is basically what we've done. We've reviewed all the risk assessments and made sure that each session that children have tied up their shoelaces. So it's just an extra thing that we put into the risk assessments. Again, this goes on the camp manager daily risk assessment check log. Then again, the instructor who's filled out or administered the first aid will have to sign it, and then this will then be signed by the particular parent or guardian. Consent to first aid form. Now this needs to be filled out by every single child on camp on their first visit to camp. So this is basically so we can give first aid to a child, and basically we need to get the parent to fill out one of these per child. And it's not one form per 2 children if they have twins, or if they have both siblings going there. We need to get one filled out for each individual person. It's very important to have a stack of these forms on the signing desk, so when they're signing in they can just quickly scribble down their child's name and sign and date it. So this is one for every season. So the password record sheet, this is something the camp manager will keep on their person at all times. And how this works, we need to ask for a password of a particular parent. So we need the name of the child, the password, and then we need the full name of the person collecting the child. So grandma's fine as long as you put Mrs. Pam Super or whatever their name may be, but just grandma will not work. And then the dates that this password will need to be used. This will go into the password record sheet, and we need to keep this private. No one else can see this by the camp manager. The best practice is to put a little P next to the name of the child. This indicates that the child, when signing them out, needs to have a password given for that particular child. Best practice is to take a password for each child, but obviously on the large camps this might not necessarily be feasible, so it's best judgment. But any child that is getting collected by another person who's dropped them off in the morning needs to have a password. And one final form to make you aware of is the key staff on camp poster. So this is basically the key staff on camp. So basically this needs to be in one in every operational super camp's room, and it just notifies people of the camp manager, safeguarding officer, the first aiders, the early years key person, and if you need to, or if you have a pool, the lifeguard. And like I said, this needs to be filled out, and one sheet needs to be up in every room that SuperCamps operates in the school. All forms can be found in the blue box, and if you run out of forms, please let your line manager know. Copies can also be found in camp operations file 1.